Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the My Reader Minutes. To all that are new here, welcome. To all that have joined me on my journey, thank you so much. Now, I wanted to just come here for a few minutes because I wanted to talk about the closing arguments in the Diddy case. Now, I've been following the case. Now, mind you, the first week I kind of reported on it every day. That got to be a little much. It was a lot. And I couldn't keep up, because I work full time. So I can't really do it. So I was just listening to it for the most part, but I didn't get a chance to listen to it this week for the closing arguments. I kind of heard bits and pieces, but I had to actually go in and read for myself what the defense did cuz I did know that they weren't calling any witnesses and all their defense were exhibits that they were going to show the jury. But what I didn't know was that, which it appears that Agnifilo was just going to not prepare anything and just freestyle his closing arguments. That's what it sounds like he did. Um, he, I guess, went through each subject and kind of like rebutted the prosecution, but let me bring it up because I had to read it for myself. Normally, I follow my girl BJ in that surprise witness, but I said I can just go out and read it for myself because that's all she does, right? Is read what CNN puts out there. She reads what the guy that does it, that tweets it live, Insider something press, Inner City Press, I think his name is. And then she goes to different, outlets and kind of reads because everyone tells it their own different way or interprets it their own different way. Mind you, I'm taking a little toast, a little drink for myself. It's Saturday and I'm relaxed. I don't have anything to do. I do have an event to go to tomorrow, but that's not till later. So, yeah, I'm just relaxing tonight. Saturday night. Ooh, it tastes good. All right. So let me find it. Can I find it? Can I pull it up? Well, I don't know. They might have taken it down now because. Okay, so let's see what this says. This says, did the federal prosecutors prove their case against Sean Diddy Combs? Legal experts weigh in. I don't know. It says whether prosecutors in the trial of Sean Diddy Combs have proven their case is a question that will be answered by his jury, which soon will start deliberating in the hip hop mogul's blockbuster S trafficking trial after hearing from 34 witnesses in testimony over more than 6 weeks. A conviction certainly is not assured, with lawyers and legal analysts saying there is an ample room for jurors to find reasonable doubt, particularly on the racketeering conspiracy and S trafficking charges. This is not a walk in the park case. This is not a home run at all, said trial attorney and legal analyst Misty Maris. There are a lot of technicalities where I think the prosecution case has vulnerabilities. Federal prosecutors allege Combs and some of his closest employees comprised a criminal enterprise that used threats, violence, forced labor, and bribery to force his ex-girlfriends, Cassie Ventura and Jane, a pseudonym accuser, to participate in S acts called freak-offs or hotel nights and to protect his reputation. In the government's closing arguments Thursday, Assistant U.S. Attorney Christy Slavic worked to distill these allegations down to their essence, explaining how they together encompass a single charge racketeering conspiracy. Okay, so I don't really want to get into what the prosecution did. All I know is that I saw that the defense described Cassie and Diddy's relationship as a beautiful, mind you, modern day love affair. I have a hard time with his description of their relationship because it wasn't beautiful. Modern day, it happened recently. But that is not how relationships should be in these times. I mean, in no time. Okay? So he's calling their relationship a modern day love affair because what? Of the kinky ass acts they enjoyed together. Now, I'm not saying that she enjoyed it. I'm saying that at some point she did, or some parts she did. Maybe she didn't like to do it as frequently as Diddy did, but she was arranging them. She was setting them up herself. And it wasn't. And I think they even found text messages that alluded that Diddy was like, "Well, are you sure you want to do this? Or we don't have to do it since you're sick or whatever," right? But then there were times, I guess, when he was drug fueled, because I think that led most of their encounters, because he had to have it in order to even get in the mood. I think his people had to have it around at all times, because I guess, is he bipolar or something? And maybe that's how he self-medicates. I don't know. I'm not making excuses, but I'm just trying to figure out, like, they had to have all that stuff around 24/7. That was his rug or rugs of choice to entertain himself. Now, I'm trying to put this as tactfully as I can. If I'm entertaining adults, let's make that clear. If I'm entertaining adults, what I like to do is drink. I like to drink wine. Every now and again, I like a mixed drink or a cooler. Now, if I offer that to you, because I'm being entertaining, because that's what I'm doing, it's up to you whether or not you want to partake. I'm not going to force you to drink with me if you don't want to drink. If you don't drink, that's great. I feel like he did that with the people that were in his circle. He had it around. He didn't make you do anything. It was there. If you wanted to partake, you could. I don't recall them saying he made anybody do anything that they didn't want to. Because, and even if he tried to guilt them, because that's not coercion, even if he tried to guilt them, now I'm not saying that with Jane, he would say, "Oh, you don't want to do this anymore? Okay, we can break up." Which meant, I'm not paying for you anymore. But that was her choice. I don't feel like that's coercion. Like, this is what I like to do. If you're my significant other, "Oh, well, you don't want to do this, you don't want to do this with me, you give me a hard time, okay, well, we can break up." All she had to do was say, "Okay." Okay, we can break up. Which meant that he wasn't going to pay for her rent, her $10,000 rent. Is that coercion? Because you're holding her rent over. It's not like she couldn't pay it. She was an influencer and she made more than that a month. So how could he hold a measly $10,000 over her when she made $50,000? if I was the defense, that's what I would have said. I don't see, he might have said that he was going to withdraw paying it, but it wasn't like she was going to be out in the street. She was an influencer and she made more than $10,000 a month. She wasn't going to be out in the street. She just had to pay it herself. That, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know why the defense didn't do that. And the prosecution trying to say that was coercion, like he was holding, that over her head. She didn't need him for that. So with Cassie, though, a little different. Cassie, she was there longer. She was there for over 10 years. She was there at a young age. I felt like with Cassie, because she was 19 and he was already in his 30s, first of all, he was dead wrong for moving in on someone so young. Half his age, pretty much. Or almost half his age. Well, 20, 30, something. Yeah, he was almost 40, right? So half his age. He was dead wrong. And I felt like his power, his influence, his money was, for a 19-year-old, oh, hell yeah, I'm sticking around, And I can be because she put herself where she wanted to be in Kim's spot. Because on the outside looking in, she probably didn't know what Kim was going through. I'm not saying that Kim was going through the same thing because we don't know. However, it's been said, rumor has it, certain people that was around them when Diddy and Kim were going strong, that, they had their moments. They did their thing. Now, whether he was as kinky then as he got when he was with Cassie, I don't know. But she got 3 babies by him. She got 3 babies by him, so they was doing something. Anywho, I just want to say that Cassie saw herself as the girlfriend. She wanted to be the girlfriend. She wanted to be in the number 1 spot. And her thing was she was going to do anything necessary that put her in that spot. Is that coercion? Is that coercion? And had the nerve to say, because somebody said, well, you need to just leave him alone. And her thing was, and they have it somewhere, I think in a text or something, or she said, well, ain't nobody else. If I leave him, who else? Jay-Z is already taken. Hello? Because that was her caliber of boyfriend that she wanted. So, with the prosecution, where he was wrong in the DV part, he was dead wrong. He whipping her behind, blacking her eye, fattening her lip, kicking her in her back, doing all kinds of stuff. All that was dead wrong. And he knows it. He knew it was. That's why he would hide her out somewhere, buy her a bunch of crap, hide her out in hotels so she could heal. He knew what he was doing, that girl was wrong. He knew that. But that's not what he's being charged with, which is what the defense is trying to say. We understand it was DV. We understand the domestic violence part of it. We own that. Diddy owns that. But the burden of proof falls on the prosecution to prove racketeering, a racketeering enterprise. And I think the defense said something like, did you hear anybody up here say that they worked for a racketeering enterprise? Why would they say that? Why would they say that? Or why would they even, how would you even know? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have known if I had gotten a job with Diddy. I mean, I could have had a minor little job. How would I have known what he was doing? Because everybody wasn't privy to what he was doing after hours. Not everybody. All I'm saying is this. I thought the defense would have come a little stronger, being that I would have honed in on the coercion, the S trafficking, because Diddy himself wasn't having the sex with them. He wasn't having sex with anybody except for his girlfriend. After they had sex with the entertainer. They called them entertainers. They weren't even calling them what they were, escorts or whatever. The entertainer. If by chance they have intercourse or some type of sexual act after coming along, then that's what happens. But Diddy wasn't having sex with them. I would have said that. Diddy wasn't having sex with them. They weren't even really threesomes. He was sitting over in the corner watching, pleasing himself. So even if it wasn't Diddy giving him the money, it was the girlfriend. I don't think that the money exchanged from Diddy, he gave it to them to pay them. He had them call the escort person. He didn't do no calling. I don't think. Maybe he did a couple times. But my whole point is he wasn't the one having sex. Technicalities. That's where I think there's vulnerabilities in the case. Now, because you know what it is, you gotta prove that's what it was. You know what I'm saying? We understand that he paid these entertainers to come and please his girlfriend. And his obsession with the oil. More oil. Just keep hearing Armand Wiggins in my head. Oh, more oil. His obsession with baby oil. It's not a crime. That's not a crime either. I'm not trying to minimize what Diddy did. I'm not trying to minimize how he bullied people, because if anything, he was a bully and not a good manager or boss. I wouldn't want to work for him, because your life is not your own. You have to cater to him 24/7. You work long hours and you don't make no money. But do you make money though? Because if you're not ever home and you're not ever going out, where are you spending it at? Obviously, you might be making some. Because if you're traveling with him, I'm assuming the company pays your expenses when you go to the hotels, when you fly with him. So your money is your money, actually. So maybe the only thing you have to pay for is a spot away from his when he don't need you. So that's it, really. And if you're not really there, your expenses wouldn't be but so much. You wouldn't have a big high electric bill, or I don't know. Only thing I think you would be paying for is a place outside of wherever Diddy lives. Because if you're there with him most of the time, he's paying for your airfare. He's feeding you because there's a chef, right? And, you're pleasing him 24/7. So those that were making $50,000, $55,000. But back then, maybe that was a good salary. I don't remember. What was I making back in 2000 and where was I working? Let me think. Hold on. I started working where I am now 23 years ago. So actually in 2020, so that might have been a good salary back then. Hold on. Let me think. Back in 2010, I was working for, I was working in the government then too. But I can't remember what I was making 10 years ago, 12 years ago. I don't remember. But anyway, the government workers don't make that much. So, but I think I might have been making around that much, if that, not less. So back then, I guess you could live off of that. And then I didn't have anybody paying for my airfare if I wanted to go somewhere. I wasn't traveling the world, but I wasn't working 12, 14-hour days. I do my little 8.5 hours and I'm home. Well, 8. It's really 8. It's really 9 hours because, 8:45. 8 hours, but you get a 45-minute lunch. So it's really 8:45. So a little more than 8.5 hours. But anywho, all in all, I guess it would be an hour to get to work, hour back. So I was putting in about the same amount of day hours. So yeah, I don't know. What y'all think? Do y'all think that the defense then blew this up for? Do y'all think that the prosecution has blown this up for Diddy? Not the prosecution. Do y'all think the defense has blown this up for Diddy? So I was reading from Baller Alert. It says, no boundaries. Woman asks Diddy's son Justin Combs to urinate on her after court hearing. Diddy is entering the final stretch of his federal trial, facing grave charges including alleged sex trafficking and racketeering offenses that could saddle him with a serious prison sentence. Throughout this legal storm, 6 of his 7 children have consistently shown unwavering support by appearing in court. Just recently, as a family member departed the courthouse, an onlooker unleashed a bizarre torrent of insults on his son Justin Combs. Caught on a camera and widely shared by The Art of Dialogue, the woman repeatedly approached Justin, demanding bold statements, asked him for a kiss, tells him she wants him to urinate on her, and even references baby oil. Justin and his siblings remain composed and silent, expressionless as they climb into a waiting vehicle. This unsettling episode isn't a first for the Combs family. They've grown almost immune to the circus surrounding their patriarch legal woes. Meanwhile, Justin has also found himself embroiled in his own legal headache. Alongside his father, he's being sued by an anonymous woman alleged she was enticed to Los Angeles by the duo. The lawsuit claims she was drugged, possibly with a lacing, and actually assaulted by 3 masked men, one of whom she believes was Diddy. Diddy defense team responded firmly. No matter how many lawsuits are filed, it won't change the fact that Mr. Combs has never actually assaulted or trafficked anyone, man or woman, adult or minor. We live in a world where anyone can file a lawsuit for any reason. Fortunately, a fair and impartial justice process exists to find the truth, and Mr. Combs is confident he will prevail in court. With the defense set to deliver his closing arguments today, all eyes remain glued to the courtroom as we await a pivotal verdict. People are crazy. People are really crazy. This world, I swear. So yeah. Let's look at Instagram. Well, make a long story short, I don't know. I think the defense didn't come with a strong defense closing arguments. And DiFilippo sounds like he went by the seat of his pants, trying to be freestyle style and like talking to the jury like he's just having a regular conversation with them. Not really. I mean, I guess he went line by line. I guess he outlined what he wanted to say, but he didn't really write anything down. It was like, I'm gonna speak to this, I'm gonna speak to this, I'm gonna speak to this. That's how you miss things. That's how you forget to mention things, you know? And then it seemed like he was calling us. They made the notion that he might have been just trying to single out or target just the black jurors by how he was speaking. And when I say that, he was just talking like, oh, you know, Cassie kept it gangster and she was this and that. You don't have to talk to black people like that. And I feel insulted. I'm insulted now, I wasn't even there. But I feel like if he felt like he needed to talk to them like that, I mean, that is so racist to me. All he had to say was, Cassie loved her man. And she was, you know, whatever he wanted, she tried to please him. No matter what it was, no matter if she wasn't even up to it. And he could have identified that with somebody, regular husband and wife couples. You might know that you want to go to sleep, right? But your significant other might want a little bit before you go to sleep. You don't always feel like it, but do you do it? You're not coerced, you know? You know, he might be a little pissed if you don't. So instead of him being pissed or annoyed or what have you, you just go ahead and do it. I mean, I've been in that predicament where I'm just not in the mood, but I go ahead and you know, let me get this over with, you know. Because you're not always in the mood, but maybe your significant other is. And I feel like relationships go through that, whether you're boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, you know. And it happened. Also, even with the illegal substances, that was his entertainment. That was his form of entertainment. Mine is wine, a cooler, a mixed drink. If I'm having one and I'm entertaining you, I might offer you one. Is that coercion? I'm not making you drink it. If you take a drink, it's because you wanted it and you wish to partake. If you don't, then you don't. I remember them saying that he made people do illegal substances. I don't think he made them do anything. All he would say was, oh, okay, you don't feel like doing it. Oh, I knew you weren't going to do that. Just rubbing a guilt trip on them. But it was still up to them whether or not they wanted to go through it or not. A lot of times, Cassie wanted to be with her girlfriends. She wasn't up to doing that. And he would go get her because that's what he wanted to do. But he looked at her as boyfriend, girlfriend. That's what they did. That was their fun time. And she liked being alone with him afterwards. Evidently, that turned him on and he wanted to be with her and Jane after their encounters. And they loved that moment with him. They loved those moments with him. They both said the same thing. They got to be with him. Now, I don't know what he turns into after a FO, but evidently it's something that is enticing to them. I wouldn't want him. He up there messing with other people's finishings. Shout out to Armand Wiggins messing with people's finishings and rubbing it all over him. I wouldn't want nothing to do with him. That don't do nothing for me. I don't want nobody that I'm with to mess all over me. Let alone somebody I don't even really know. That's disgusting. That is disgusting. Anyway, I just felt like, you know, the defense could have came a little stronger. They got Diddy's life in their hands, pretty much. And the jury has a weekend to deliberate. They're talking to people. They're looking at stuff. You know what I mean? And anything could sway them, alter. I don't even know if that was even a good thing. They should have waited to do their opening arguments on Monday and Tuesday. And then, well, they want everything to be over by the 4th. which is Friday. So they only have, I guess they have 5, they're giving them up to 4 days to deliberate. I guess. I don't know. Anyway, tell me what you think. This verdict is, whichever way it goes, is going to rock this generation, this culture, whichever way it goes, because I can see people being upset either way. So, not gonna be able to please or appease everybody. No matter which way the verdict goes, people gonna be upset. Because some people want him to fry, and some people want him to fly. So, where am I in the matter? I feel like he needs to do the remainder of a year in jail for the DV stuff. Dry out because he's an addict. He needs to go another year and stay somewhere for that type of treatment. I mean, his stuff would be structured for me. I don't know if he has, I can't tell if it's a RICO enterprise. I don't know what that means. Even though they've tried to break it down to me, I don't see it. Because he didn't make any money off of anything he was doing. It was for his personal pleasure. So, I don't know. I thought RICO had to do with like funneling money or laundering money or something like that. I don't know. But they said they only had to find 2 crimes, right? That was orchestrated by a group. And I guess because he had this person call, this person set up, this person clean up. Those people that just worked for him. That's no different than having a party catered. You have people to set up, people to host and serve while you're there, and then people to tear down and clean up after you leave. There's no different. It's not illegal. That's not illegal. So, help me. If I'm not understanding properly, please leave a comment down below. Let's talk about it. With that being said, please like, share, and subscribe. Everyone be blessed. Peace.